saved others, let him save himself. If he is the chosen one, the Christ of God. Even the soldiers jeered at him. As they approached to offer him wine, they called out, "If you are King of the Jews, save yourself." Above him there was an inscription that read, "This is the King of the Jews." Now one of the criminals hanging there reviled Jesus, saying, "Are you not the Christ? Save yourself and us." The other, however, rebuking him, said in reply, "Have you no fear of God? For you are subject to the same condemnation. And indeed, we have been condemned justly, for the sentence we received corresponds to our crimes. But this man has done nothing criminal." Then he said, "Jesus, remember me when you come into your kingdom." He replied to him, "Amen, I say to you, today you will be with me in paradise." The Gospel of the Lord. Very easy we say, yes, we acknowledge Jesus as our King. But the meaning of this acknowledgement, accepting him as our King, is not something easy to do, because it has practical consequences for us. If we acknowledge him as our King, then we will go into his kingdom. And his kingdom is a very special kingdom. It's just the opposite of what we think when we are thinking of a kingdom. Because he on the cross is the king. A sign just contrary to everything we will think about some ruler, someone in charge, someone who has power. So, let us now follow what we heard in today's readings and try to understand this mystery, the mystery we are celebrating. Try to acknowledge in our hearts Jesus as he really is, as the King of the universe. We know that on the cross there was this sign written, "This is the King of the Jews." But if you take today's second reading, this hymn of the Colossians regarding Jesus, and you read it in front of the cross, then it will be even more striking for you. He is not only a king, a kind of king, but he is the image of the invisible God. A terrible thing to say, but a reality for us. If we want to see the invisible God, we look at Jesus on the cross. So this is the God we believe in, a God who is willing to give up his life on the cross, a God who is there like a criminal on a cross, and with only one reason, to be our own God, to be the one who reconciles everyone, to be the one who takes all the sins and destroys sin on the cross. So, the image of the invisible God. And then the hymn continues, as you listened a moment ago, and says, everything was done by him and through him. Everything, that means the universe. Everything that exists, not only we, the human beings, but everything we know, and even those things we are not able to know. Everything created by him, and in him, and for him. And he is on the cross. Remember that. We are facing him on the cross. And then the hymn explains we have been reconciled by the blood that he has shed on the cross. We have been able to acknowledge the true God because he gave up his life on the cross. So, This is the King we accept. This is the King we acknowledge. Contrary to every experience we have, just the opposite of what the world thinks about a king, about a ruler. Now, let us go to the gospel and see these three groups of people in front of the cross. We begin with the first group, the common people. Maybe some of them were following Jesus. They acknowledged that he was a good person, but then they see him defeated on the cross and they don't know how to think. Why? Because in their hearts they had the hope that he will rule Israel. As a matter of fact, he was welcomed as a king in Jerusalem, but now has been condemned to death. So the first group just look at him and they don't know what to think. Sometimes we are like this group of people. Yes, we do believe that God is our king, that Jesus is our king. But then, when facing the real problems of our lives, we don't know what to think. Because in our hearts we say, what is happening here? Why is not he doing something for me, for my society, for my place? And this thought in our hearts makes us unable not only to acknowledge him, but to understand his kingship, his way of being king. Now, we look at the second group that implies those who were the rulers of Israel and also the soldiers who were putting Jesus on the cross. And we listen to the same words. If you are the Son of God, if you are a king, save yourself. And also the soldiers saying the same. If you are the king, then save yourself. To the same group, we can put in there the first of the criminals being crucified with Jesus. If you are the Messiah, save yourself and save us. Listen carefully. Save yourself. Think of yourself. Think of you. Put everything at your service. Show your power. And Jesus remains in silence and remains on the cross. This is the answer. The true image of God is this God giving up everything on the cross, not saving himself, not putting the universe to his service, but being at the service of everyone. Now, we understand this is the kingdom of truth and life, the kingdom of holiness and grace, justice, love, and peace. This is the kingdom in which God himself offers everything he has, his own life, for all, not only the human beings, but for all in the universe to enjoy a new opportunity, a new life. Now, what are we supposed to do if we go into the kingdom? This kingdom proclaimed by Jesus on the cross.